All right. On the topic of how important or powerful our words and our thoughts are, that's what we're going to speak about for a minute. Have you have you ever had a thought that just pops in your head and it's a negative thought? But you didn't try to have the thought. It feels like it just came to you, right? It's a We could kind of compare this to think about this. Like you're not actually breathing your body right now. You're not breathing yourself. You're not pumping your blood, you know? So there are certain things that are just subconscious and or they just happen automatically. And I like to look at our thoughts and words that way because sometimes we're going to have thoughts that we didn't want to have. They're bad thoughts or negative thoughts, right? And I kind of here I want to give you a couple of analogies. First of all, have you ever heard that phrase, nobody's coming to save you? It feels pretty harsh, and especially for people that have in their mind that someone is going to come save them, right? So think about it this way. The way I like to look at that and what I've kind of created out of it is that you are the hero. You are the hero in your story. So if you think about someone coming to save you, right, you would think about, oh, my hero is going to come save me. Well, guess what? From all the studies and all my experiences, um, the hero is you. Okay. And I've recently coined myself as a reluctant hero. And the reason is, you know, it all practically everything that had a huge impact in my life that taught me a massive lesson was something that I wouldn't have chosen for myself. And if I was faced with that choice, then I would probably be pretty reluctant about it, right? So the reluctant hero, if you think about the hero's journey that Joseph Campbell talks about that goes in the circle and it's like challenge and this, and you meet a mentor and you learn and then you bring back the elixir, which is knowledge, right? And share it with everyone else. Um, Nobody's, we're not always excited to be the hero, but the reality is, in my opinion, we are the hero in our story. We are already the hero. The question is, how are we going to show up, right? So what I'm putting together and hoping to share is kind of a roadmap, if you will, from being a reluctant hero to being an intentional hero. So just a few thoughts that I'd like to share with you. um, we have more than one voice up there. So if you've heard the phrase "I'm hearing voices," well, it's because there's more than one voice up there. We have voices. The bad ones are the loudest. I'm just going to say good and bad to keep it simple. The bad ones are the loudest. They're things like, you know, the imposter syndrome type stuff. Who do you think you are? You know, that type thing. Those are loud. And the more still we get and the more quiet we get, then we can actually hear the whispers, which are the more good things. And the whispers, the intuition, if you will, the part of God living inside of us, regardless of your beliefs, that intuition doesn't scream. It's not loud. It's actually very quiet. So if you're constantly stimulated and you never take a chance to slow down and get quiet and still, probably not. You're not going to hear them. Um, Discernment. Discernment is the key to decide what that voice was. And clarity is the gift of practicing stillness, quietness, getting yourself in a place of having some mental clarity and mental stability. Discernment. That way you can discern whether or not those voices are good or bad. I mean, this might be controversial, but I mean, I've seen plenty of stories where, let's say, a mom drowns her three kids in the bathtub. And when they asked her what was going on, she said, God told me to do it. Well, right? So the question is God the one speaking? Are you hearing God? Or are you hearing something else? Discernment. It's all about discernment. Here's some word examples. Okay, that I learned some of this stuff just from a lot of mentors and a lot of people, and during my transformation and in the past decade, I've kind of created a toolbox to help me. So every morning, practically, I learned this from Wayne Dyer because he said he gets up before his feet hit the floor. As soon as his feet hit the floor, he says, "Thank you, thank you, thank you," and it's basically a blessing. It's like a prayer almost. So grateful, grateful, grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I say that. I say that first thing when I wake up in the morning, just out of habit, just automatically, because I get out of bed and our bodies are like trying to move after being still for so long. And I find myself saying grateful, 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 thank you, thank you, thank you. And so the other thing is if I ever start feeling like sorry for myself or in having a pity party or I'm a victim or I don't really want to do this or I don't like this, I just recite that grateful, 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 thank you, thank you, thank you, because gratitude is the key to everything. Start with gratitude and you're going to have a good path in which to walk upon. Okay. So, the other one is no judgment, no condemnation, and no criticism. Now, this one's hard. I learned this from Wayne Dyer also because he was explaining how, uh, anything that causes separation is not from God. So we're meant for connection, and that's part of the ego. The ego is like, what do I do? What do I have? These type things. And then what am I separate from? Which a lot of times we're separating ourselves. But in situations where maybe I see somebody and I have some real passionate thoughts around people being healthy, trying to be healthy, exercising, taking care of themselves, So when I see certain people, sometimes I'm just being real transparent here, I might have a story in my head. Like I wonder if that person actually has a medical condition since they're riding that cart around in the store. See, but as soon as I have something pop up, I try to remember to say no judgment, no condemnation, and no criticism. That's how I try to live. It's not my place. If you sit around judging, condemning, and criticizing all the time, well, I mean, you don't even have any right to do that. And it's a sorry existence. So, when I find myself doing that, I just say it out loud. No judgment, no condemnation, no criticism. Words, thoughts and words. I replace the thoughts that I might have been having with powerful words that put me back on the path. Here's a good test for you. I did this for about a year and a half once. Well, you know how people ask you how you're doing? Hey, how's it going? How are you? A lot of times, and you could see, they don't really want to know. Because if you start trying to tell them, they're like, glazed over, right? So here's what I did. I simply said, anytime, how are you? I am amazing. Okay, I challenge you to do this test. I am amazing. This has so many different benefits. Okay, first of all, we're enforcing the fact that we're amazing. I am amazing. The other thing that's really powerful is that in a real popular book called the Bible, they talk about God. Another word for God is I am. And it's somewhere in there it says, might have been the burning bush. I'm not sure, but it says, who are you? And I am that I am. Now, here's the cool part about that. Whatever you say after I am is very powerful. So when you say things like, I'm an idiot, I'm so stupid, you're cursing yourself. So don't. But here's the test. Someone says, how are you? Anytime somebody says, how are you? I am amazing. Just tell them, I'm amazing. I am amazing. Try to say I am instead of I'm. It's very powerful. Okay. And then affirmations are great. They're cool, but they need to feel real. So as you start practicing some of these other things that get you into that place you want to be, it'll be a lot better. And sometimes I just like to simply say, all is as it should be, because we're not really in control. Take care.